during working on the flyer, we had some difficulties identifying the challenges of the projects because we were students and didn't have much insight into the inner workings of the university concerning sustainable projects. So we talked to people who were in the know at the universities, and we tried to collect also some information from the websites of the different universities, because our idea was to share the ideas and the successful projects that each of the universities already implemented to share and in our community of action. For easy access, we provided you with QR codes that would lead you to the website of the projects or the Green Office, for example, that exists, for example, in the University of Salamanca and the University of Jena to streamline all sustainability efforts of the university, which is quite handy. And as you will notice, there are some challenges and good practices for each university that we have pinpointed. And for example, in IASH, you could see that one good thing is they have a good food waste management in the canteen. And if you look at the right-hand side, you'll see Coimbra, who, and that university struggles a bit more with food waste. So we can see that we have a university with a very good practice and a university that still faces that challenge. And we hope that with our work we can contribute to the cooperation between the 7 universities in this community of action to provide an even better standing and to achieve ecological sustainability in our universities. Sorry. At the end, I would like to say that we actually have 150 printed out flyers. So at the moment they are somewhere over there, but when we take a leave and go through the door, we will stand there and offer you some flyers to take away with you at your universities, and you can distribute them anywhere. So any student or any employee who's interested in the topic can grab a flyer and have a look at what are common challenges in our universities and what are good practices to overcome the challenges we have. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this interesting presentation of the flyer. That is, well, definitely an eye-catcher. Let me just check. Yes. Should you have questions throughout the presentations, then feel free to join us at this Slido, well, Q&A session. I think you're familiar with the concept by now. Just type in your questions, and after we've gone through all the 5 different topics, there will be, should we have the time, there will be a short Q&A session where we will answer all your questions. Okay. Well, green mobility is, of course, closely interlinked with environmental consciousness, and it's also always a really hot topic for the EC2U events, since these are sometimes really, well, the invitation link for the student delegates sometimes reach the students only a few days, weeks, months in advance, and then it's kind of tough to find a green route of travel to your to the forum destinations. And so we are very grateful that some of the students actually focused on a way of raising awareness for green mobility by creating a streak of Instagram posts that they now will present to you. So, delegate from this group, please join me on the floor. Thanks.
Hello everybody, my name is Federico Bonadeo and I came from the University of Pavia and I'm also a proud student of psychology. I'm glad to be here to introduce you to our group project that is made from student for student. And since is like this, we wanted to make something shareable. We wanted to make something that you guys can see and can feel and you can play with. For example, we made an Instagram post that is available. We are going to share the Instagram page later. And there's also a quiz in the bio, so you can train yourself with the sustainability quiz. Okay, we know that traveling by air is a really fast way to get to your destination. But at what cost? Thanks to the European Union website, we know that going, for example, from America to here and coming back is the medium cost is like heating an apartment here in EU for 1 year, so is too much, and it must be another way of doing this. So is car better? Maybe, but while traveling with car, you have to remember the most valuable rule. You must bring your friends with. So if you're gonna be just by yourself, the trip is going to be boring and you're not gonna have fun. But if your car is full of people, you're gonna have fun and it's gonna help also the planet. And just remember, don't break the law, like 5 people at max. But for me, for example, I hate driving. And what is the solution? I love to take buses and trains just because I can relax. And I don't have to drive to get into places. But I know there are disadvantages. So my colleagues and my friends are going to explain to you and provide some solution. Thanks and enjoy.
So, my name is Celia Berari, I'm coming from Romania, and I'm going to talk about alternative ways to long-distance trip. For example, when you go to a trip to America, you can change the destination to Europe, because Europe offers 412 captivating UNESCO sites. I think it's easier. Now I'm going to talk about some ways to have eco-friendly public transport. Nowadays we used to drive by car, and we need to find solutions to reduce this way of transportation. We can try to use the public transport even though this is less comfortable. So if you use often the public transport, in the future this method will be functional and cheap. Thank you.
My name is Sergio. I am from Iași in Romania, and it's the first time that I'm gonna say I am not prepared for today, but as a joke. And yes, it's good. What Art Europe is trying to do for make us go green. Improving green mobility is good, of course. Like think about the internal train. Europe is trying to reduce the cost and for the students. In other country, I ask someone around, and the train or maybe the bus are already free. So we are not alone. Provide more investment in green mobility by institution. I will give the example of Pavia. They build a bike road. For the first one, I can give the Iași example. Like they give a discount of 18% on the bus tickets. Advertisement campaign to share the cool part of green mobility. Of course, is what we are doing now and here. We all together. We connect country, and we are doing this right now. Yeah, like I said, you are not fighting alone. And why is that? Because the European Union is trying to reduce by 55% by 2030 the emissions, and by 2050 they will try to become climate neutral. They also try to include also new regulation for greener way to travel, both in the air or in the ground, because of course we need that. We need that because it can be painful. Maybe wake up at 6 p.m. in the morning. Okay, now I will do a promotion for our. You can scan it, the QR code, and take the quiz we made for you, and I will check if you are good or not. So, Have joy.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me reiterate that there is additional content on their Instagram site. You'll find a link which will take you to a survey. Yes, or a little quiz where you can test your knowledge on green mobility. All right. Maybe I'll give you another few seconds to scan the QR code, and then we can move on to the next group, which has been focusing on inclusion and diversity. And from the experience from the last forum, I can definitely tell you that this is always a really hot topic. There was some, quite heated debate during the last forum, and I'm very delighted to see that we have another contribution on this topic for this forum. As said in the beginning, there are different media formats that are presented to you now, and with the third group, we will start showing you short video clips. And the group on inclusion and diversity perfectly managed to stay within the 5-minute time slot, so I will just play the video to you. Enjoy. Let's see if this works. No, do we have to?
You included. The following responses capture the experience of a group of diverse international students in conversation at the EC2U forum in Jena, Germany. The short responses resulted from long and deep conversations about general life experiences, not limited to university. The solutions, however, aim to help universities assist students in feeling included. So, back to the question again. Do you feel included? Why do you feel included or not?
Yes, I feel integrated. And I felt integrated at my home university, and I felt the same as an exchange student. And if you are in this privileged position, it doesn't mean that the topic doesn't concern you anymore. It means that you are part of the problem, when you should be part of the solution. It is important for the included ones to know that they have the power to change something.
For most of my life, as a white, privileged male South African, I have been part of the majority group and therefore had a comfortable life. I had income at my disposal, I shared the sentiments of the majority group, and doors were open to me. I did not have to earn this, it was given to me based on my position in society.
I'm a second-generation Italian. I'd like to point out the difference between getting included and feeling included. I tried to fit in, to adequate myself to what's around me, discover different traditions, and embrace them, and it ended up in me getting included. But I felt like I lost some of my identity in the process. So am I really included? My original culture and traditions were never really accepted, and I never felt like it was perceived as a source of richness. I want to bring here the voices of my friends and family that didn't conform to the main culture and are still suffering from racism and discrimination.
I am a strong believer that beauty lies in diversity. Embracing diversity and inclusion surpasses having a seat at the table to having a voice and making it heard. Often in our institutions, the voices of the proactive students are given preference in comparison to those who are less active, and this makes them feel excluded.
Yeah, I feel included because I finally found love in people who are around me. I didn't always feel this way. Even from a privileged social point of view, many times I struggled to find my place and my peace of mind. To feel included even when you're part of the majority is never for granted. Everyone can experience exclusion, loneliness, depression, and behind the silence there can be thousands of thoughts, and words are not always the way people are comfortable to communicate with. We can communicate a lot with our eyes, with music, dance, painting, and there are always different ways, and we should never forget about it.
As a member of the queer community, I feel mostly included in my city and my university. But as my experience as an exchange student, I was kind of feeling left out. As my arrival, I didn't know place to be, where to be, if it was safe or not.
I'm an international student and I can see the effort to be included. I feel and understand the importance of cultural exchange. When I start to have a conversation in Portuguese, the accent sometimes changes the perspective of inclusion. Therefore, it's necessary to cross borders and accents to create space with more tolerance and respect.
While I feel integrated into society and student life as a part of the majority group, I'm aware that many individuals, due to factors like their sexual orientation, race, or religion, don't share this sense of belonging. It's unfortunate that sometimes even within the majority, some still feel excluded.
But I I have seen and experienced firsthand how minority cultures are forced to adopt features from the dominant culture in order to fit in. It's done to ensure survival and to avoid discrimination.
What do you think could be part of the solution?
Having a better understanding of colonialism, as well as past and previous government policies, will help to recognize how and why discrimination still happens today.
The loudest voice isn't always the right one, and therefore, to have an all-inclusive system, we must be ready to accommodate all voices and make their opinions count.
Change starts with open minds. We should strive to understand before judging others, especially starting from universities that shape people's mind.
Those of us who are part of the majority group need to start standing up against systems that favor majority over minority. Equality and equity won't take our opportunities away, but it might just give some opportunity to others too.
We should encourage the different ways people can communicate with music, dance, painting. There are always different ways, and we should never forget about it.
To create safe points where different cultures can express themselves and feel included, and to encourage new knowledge from different perspectives to create diversity.
To increase inclusivity of LGBTQ+ students on their campus, university should create safe place to students to gather and feel comfortable, and in this kind of forum, pronouns should be included in the invitation to reach inclusivity.
We sincerely hope that universities will become safe havens for students to not only survive, but thrive. Do you feel included?
Thank you very much for this video contribution. I think this is also a great opportunity to restate the fact that all of the work that you have been presented to you now and will be presented throughout the session has been developed throughout the duration of this week. There was no prior preparation. The students managed to produce all of this since Monday. So I think this is also worth a round of applause.
Do you?
Next group will be on mental health. Sure, you can already come to the front, sure. Okay, very impatient, no worries. Mental health, yes, I don't think that I have to explain much about this. This has also been one of the focal points of the thematic focal points of this forum in general, and the Health Week and all of this week that we have been offering you here in Jena, so feel free to present your topic, and also then we will show you their video clip.
Hello everyone, we will start with a little interaction, so please raise your hands, those of you who have exams soon. Okay, now please leave your hands up if you are trying to study hard for these exams. Okay, fine, so quite a lot of you. Thank you. So for those who want to have good academic performance, right? So it is sometimes very difficult to keep up with everything, and not only studying, but also personal life and many casual daily things. So our student meeting group, whose overall, as you can see, right, the overall topic is mental health, prepared a short video for you, which, like, on the issue which is very common and very topical for the young generation and all of us. And this issue also affects our well-being. So that is perfectionism. Many university students, as well as, unfortunately, many of us sitting here in this room, are struggling in the intention to have the best results and to show high performance. But this leads to many related mental health problems. And this affects not only the mental health, right, not only our mentality, but also the general health. Because, as we know, there is no health without mental health. So now we invite you to watch our short video. These are our suggestions on what universities might do in order to reduce and also prevent the damage that perfectionist struggle can cause. And after the video, if you have any questions regarding anything that you're going to see now, please raise your hands, or you can also ask them in the chat, and we will try to answer them. Thank you.
University students have to cope with many challenges during their learning process. These challenges could affect seriously their mental health.
Have you ever felt like you need to get the best result? Have you ever set impossible standards for yourself? Have you ever felt inferior because of others? Have you ever limited your social life?
Perfectionism is a trait that affects more than 80% of higher education students. When unhealthy, it entails excessively high standards and overly critical self-evaluation. These behaviors could affect psychosocial health, from diminishing social relationships to even suicide ideation.
More spaces for students to study, eat and rest. Classes could be scheduled either in the morning or in the afternoon. Both students and teaching staff should respect each other's time. Accurate feedback by teachers supporting students' effort and perseverance. Meetings between professors and students to clarify their expectations of both studying and teaching process. Psychological support could be promoted more by the staff and university. Organized workshops could help students to identify and express themselves. Organize extracurricular activities like sports and art classes. Favor a community by organizing social events.
Thank you very much for this interesting contribution. There will be a question round after the next. So the fifth and final contribution from the forum students, this time focusing on quality education, one of the key aspects, of course, in a university environment, as education is one of the cornerstones of universities' everyday life. So please come to the floor and present us with your topic, and then we will also have a look at their video contribution.
Hi, so our group had the challenging mission to reflect on the topic of quality education and what quality education means to us, while also focusing on some problems and proposing solutions for them. The last part was maybe the most defiant part, but also the most empowering one, as we realized that we, students, are capable of proposing change, and so I take this opportunity to appeal to all university representatives here to involve students in decision-making processes regarding pedagogical innovation, but also in all other topics involving education. So we thought that the video format would be the most suitable to transmit our message, and we hope you enjoy our video, and then we'll have some questions.
Hola!
Ciao!
Serve! Hallo!
Salut!
Bună!
Hola!
Привет!
Diversity.
Student-centered approach.
Communication.
Quality teaching.
Coherent.
Inspirational.
Interaction.
Applicability.
Accessibility.
Transparency.
Equity. International. Research is well needed, but the way the information gets to the students is really important. We need to balance research and teaching. We think traditional teaching is slowing down the educational process.
Tests that involve real-life situations where you have access to the theory.
Encourages students and teachers to use technology during the learning process.
Encouraging open discussions between teachers and students in order to develop critical thinking.
Putting into practice up-to-date pedagogical methods that are learned by the teachers through the already existing workshops on the topic.
We identified intellectual inbreeding as one of the main problems of our education. Intellectual or academic inbreeding is a practice where a university hires its own graduates to be professors. This is a clear obstacle to the progress of the scientific knowledge, and it also presents itself as a barrier to diversity.
Establishing transparent criteria for hiring professionals.
We can encourage students to seek opportunities outside their own institutions by establishing partnerships between universities.
Define some quotas for teachers from different academic backgrounds. The current situation is the lack of communication and connection between the EC2U universities.
Having access to online courses taught by EC2U universities and getting credits for it.
Simple application process for internships for the students of the EC2U academies. To align the curricula of universities to make exchange easier.
Well, I hope I did not promise too much when I said that our contributions will definitely not be boring. As promised, here we offer you now a round of Q&A. You can find the chat where you can pose your questions under the QR code down in the corner or by entering the digit number on Slido. And maybe I will start with a comment that is more, well, it's not really a question, but I will definitely read it out loud, which says, "Congrats for the great work." So maybe another round of applause for the contribution of the students who have put a lot of work. Starting with the first group on ecological sustainability, you chose a flyer as your format. Do you think that this is not maybe contradictory, printing to raise awareness for environmental sustainability? Please come to the floor to answer the question.
The answer or the question?
Yes, you also answer the question. It's a Q&A session.
No, I was sorry. I misunderstood what you said. Sorry. Possibly. I don't know what to add, to be honest. Yes, paper waste is a big problem, and we all see it in that, for example, in all the students research programs where you make advertisements, like in the forums and aulas and everything. Now people use less colorful printing methods and so on. We chose a flyer because then you can easily take it away to your home universities, and also paperback is sometimes just more practical, so you have something in hand. We do hope, so the other, obviously, that you won't just throw them away, because we put some effort into it, and I think you can gain some experience from that. But yes, it is controversial. I can agree with that. Yeah.
There are also some questions on green mobility, and one of them is, can you imagine ways of improving the public transport system? How can we design, manage, and incentivize public transport services and infrastructure to be more inclusive, affordable, and convenient? Do you have any ideas how we can achieve this?
Hello again. Like as now, we didn't have so much time. So, but we talk about a lot of things, and we talk about like using the bike. For most of the country, it can be a good possibility, but infrastructure of the city don't give the possibility to use a bike. And maybe bike, of course, can be for a short ride can be the best. But how every country can improve that? Change the infrastructure of the city. Maybe spend some more money on the bus and making them not bigger, but. One of the reasons because people don't choose to go bus is because many times it can come later and it's not so good. But if you try with your heart, it can be possible. So.
Thank you. What I can see from the questions that have been posted in the chat is that they are very thoroughly thought through, and some of them are really on a very detailed level. Let me remind you that these are all just students by now, and who are maybe not really specialized in the field that they've been focusing on in these rounds of questions. And what this shows is that this really is a forum where people can pose questions and start interactions. And I think this is also one of the main takeaways from these forum sessions, is that this is merely a conversation starter, that we definitely need to get in contact and work on solutions to the problems that have been presented here also after the forum. Okay, let's go to the next group. Oh, so many great contribution comments coming in so that I cannot even find the questions. Okay, a question for the group on inclusion and diversity. How do you approach understanding the perspective of a co-worker or co-student whose background differs from yours?
Hey everyone. They chose me to answer this question. I've been the person to have a different background in different cases. Just honest curiosity and genuine interest in other people and how they live their life is something that is always welcome. As long as you come off as respectful, as long as you're a little cultured, so you're not asking questions that are completely out of place, I think any conversation is feasible. I have no problem talking about my cultural background, my religious belief, or how they changed throughout the years. And I don't think difference in culture means that you have to be extra careful with how you interact with somebody. You have to be extra careful in the case where you're not cultured enough to know how to interact. But we live in a diverse and multicultural world, and it has been like this for ages. Immigration has always been part of the universe. People have always moved from countries to countries and always found a way to collaborate and live together. We are trying to make it better every day that passes. Sometimes the world has step backs. We all know history and what happened in history. But as long as you are genuine, you are trying to understand about the person in a respectful way, I think every question is legit, every question can be answered. Be respectful, be aware of your world and the people in it. Of course, you cannot assume that you can ask any, like some questions are stupid, okay? They are stupid when you're not aware of the different cultures and traditions that are present in your country, when they have been there for ages, when your classmates have been from that culture growing up, and you never showed any interest until you became a grown-up. Then yes, some questions might be a bit offensive, a bit weird, because you would expect that you would know a bit about what surrounds you, the way you know your streets, the way you know how to move in the world, the way you know your neighbors, the way you should know the different cultural groups that are within your country. So be informed about the different cultures around you and interact with them and try to get to know people. This is what I would say.
Having a look at the time, I would now give the floor to my colleague. There are some questions in the chat that ask the students whether they have been heard, whether they feel involved in the students, in the forum or in the EC2U project adequately, and maybe we will find time to hear student voices to answer these questions at the end of this session after the summer school students have presented their results. So now, Lena, the floor is yours.
All right, hello everybody. Thank you for these wonderful contributions. It's exactly as we said, the same counts for the summer school. We don't stop here, we just get started. What happens in the summer school doesn't stay in the summer school. The same counts for the forum groups. Thank you very much for these wonderful contributions, and definitely afterwards we can engage in discussions and might also find a bridge between what you've been working on and what the participants of the Healthy Campus Summer School have been working on. I would like to ask the group from Yash to present what the ideas that you had regarding how to improve our university structures and offers. Thank you very much. Come here.
Thank you so much. So, hi, I'm Octavian from the University Alexandra Lukasha-Yash. I'm a student in the new master's program, the Lifelong Wellbeing and Healthy Aging. And the most important parts of the whole summer school that I personally found interesting, and by extension the rest of our group, was the aspect of the interdisciplinary approach that was presented, especially this Thursday on the sessions, because you cannot have a catch-all solution to every single international student's problem, but you can have certain programs and certain avenues to make this transition from a specific form of education to another one much easier. So I found that academic aspect to be very interesting. Another one was the aspect of mental health and resilience, that I think it was on Monday, on the first day, and this also ties to the aspect of homesickness and how, as we saw, around 2/3 of every student who goes to work abroad or study abroad actually fails. So by improving that aspect of mental health and resilience and how to cope with the issues is going to provide a way better result in the long term for everyone. And another one that I personally would like to be more easily implemented back home is more clarity and more clear communications between the students and the faculty, and not feel in certain ways either hampered or the information is available but it's so hidden that you have to go through 10 different pages in the website to find it, which sometimes happens. So that was my feedback and our group's mostly stuff. So thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. Well, this week has been a great success so far, and about 98% of the moments that we have lived. Unfortunately, we can send person to the moon and to the Mars, but not yet translate all the PowerPoint presentations from one format to another. So we would have to improvise a little bit here and get an oral presentation of the results from the Pavia students, please.
Hello all, I'm sorry about this. I will try to do my best and I'll try to be short. I'm happy that there are some members of the international office of the university here, because I think this is also for them and not just for us. So things that we discussed when we had this good opportunity, I guess, to focus and think about what we have of good in our universities and what can be implemented. And I love the fact that we had the chance to interact and learn from different cases in different contexts. I think the good things that we saw that we had is that we had some students praise the International Mobility Office, and they were happy about the good communication that happened with them and the accreditation of credits that they had in other universities. So they were happy about this. But I won't talk too much about what we did, what we have good, because we focused much on what we could do better. And I want to thank also Professor Trimpop and Lena for the opportunity, and because they also gave us the chance to, I guess, think and to be critical and not be afraid much of, be brave and say what we think and what we can do better, instead of saying yes sir or yes madam, because we are students in university and it's a free and open space, and if we are afraid also to talk with our professors, there is something wrong there. So, and we should step up for ourselves. One main point is that we should have in our University of Pavia more harmonization between the English taught courses and Italian taught courses, because there were instances where students found themselves having kind of two different systems in one university, and they lagged behind and they kind of felt left out or like behind of the local students. So maybe we could do more on that. Then an interesting thing that we should do in our campus is raise awareness also on substance uses, risky behaviors, and talk more about consent with our students in our communities, because we get in university and we drink, some of us use substances, some engage in risky behaviors, and we should talk about that in our communities. If we just shut our eyes and pretend that nobody does this thing, we will have still people that are forced or to go on bad path, and then we're gonna cry and say, oh, we should have done something, but then nothing changed and we don't talk about it and we don't raise awareness. So we should be more open and less kind of hypocritical about these topics. Another thing that we should, I guess, promote and engage in our universities is find places for students inside our buildings, because at least in University of Pavia we have a lot of abandoned places and empty rooms, and we should create spaces where we can collectively self-organize and have rooms where maybe we can, as the colleagues of the our group said, maybe expose our creations, expose our music, maybe do our things together and try to put them in real life, because now we're used to post only stuff on social media and our painting and stuff, but we have places, we have stuff, and if we don't do that there, like, it's kind of a bad opportunity, like we don't take an opportunity. So maybe if we can have a room for students in University of Pavia, we'll be grateful. So we can stay there, chit-chat, maybe, and create stuff and organize conferences by our own, and not pass by private places or ask permission to the university to do something. Then, what else? We talked a lot also about sports in our university. We have a good service, it is a CUS. It's the Center of University Sport. But the thing that my colleagues said to me is that there are instances where the annual fees are too expensive, so maybe lowering that will be beneficial to create more healthy campus. And another point that we addressed, maybe also with international students, is having a kind of a link when students come in our university. So in the middle of their exchange, we can have maybe a follow-up session to check up on them, on how you're doing after maybe 3 months that you come in our city, and just not have just a mobility fair and then forget about them. So maybe like in the middle, we can try to create more contact. Then especially what I felt is more relevant for us students of Pavia, and maybe in the Italian system in general, is that we have a high hierarchical system, and the university is a free and open system for debate, and if we are afraid to approach our professors, and we feel that they are in this position and we are here, there's something wrong, it shouldn't be this way. You give respect, you have respect, and it's not just unidirectional, but it's bidirectional. We learn from each other. I learn from the professor learns from us as well. And if there's no open space for dialogue in this way, not just for students, but also for staff members, if we have professors that are acting in a quirky and crazy way with the staff members or students, we should find a way to address these issues and not just shut our eyes and say yes sir or yes madam, because I mean, it's a free and open space, and then how can we blame closed authoritarian systems if in our universities that are open and free, we are afraid to say, maybe, you know, I don't think this is right, and we just stay silent and agree on what our superior says. So especially this is in Pavia, I feel that this is relevant, and we should stand up for ourselves, because we are creators of reality, and we should start ourselves to do these things. And now I'll shut up, and thank you very much for your attention. Please.
Thank you very much, Pavia team. Indeed, this was a great inspiration also in the discussion. Maybe this is a good point to mention that yesterday we took 1 hour longer after our workshop in the summer school, because there were so many discussions and ideas that we wanted to share within us. And I think this really shows a great spirit also of the participants to be really engaged within the topics and feel the commitment to do some changes and be the ambassadors of change when they go back to their respective universities. Next up is Turku. Nice. Maybe it's needless to say, but there were a lot of more ideas than what you can see on this short presentation. We have gathered them, and we will find ways afterwards to also distribute them towards the EC2U community. Thank you.
So, hi, I am Kuisma, and
I'm Sanni, hi.
yeah, unfortunately, because of technical troubles, we didn't manage to make a PowerPoint, so then we just read out of notes, and then maybe we'll first start with what we've learned from this week. And one of the main things that came up when we discussed this together was that we actually have quite a lot of good things in University of Turku and maybe in the Finnish university system already, that there's a wide variety of services and structural and institutional practices that promote already student well-being and student academic collaboration and everything, and maybe especially just there's like all sorts of services: student well-being, student counseling, student career advising, different peer support groups, and sports, like physical well-being promoting projects as well.
Yeah, and if the people who do that, most of them are professionals, but those students who want to help other students, they are all trained, so it's always like made sure from university that no one's going there with not knowing what they are doing.
Yeah, right. And then one thing also that came up when we listened to students from other universities talk about their universities' practices in education was that we noticed that we have some quite positive practices in how our lectures and exams are organized, in the way, for example, that in Finnish universities we have this electronic automatized exam system where you can book your exams in exactly the time and day that suits you best, so you don't need to do 3 exams in a day or 3 exams in a week. You can book them whenever the exam period is open, so you can do it on Monday evening or Sunday evening or whenever. And that's one thing that's probably really good for flexibility and accommodating to different students' needs. And that also, apart from that, different things that promote, I think, cognitive ergonomics is that there's usually the lectures in many fields, not in medical school apparently, but in many other fields, there's usually the earliest lectures start at 10, and because of the professors know that it's scientifically proven to not be efficient to start lectures at 8, because no one is awake and no one will learn. So that's one thing that's nice. And also I think, at least in my field, in psychology, usually there's only maybe 2 lectures per day, and even the lectures usually last 1 hour and 30 minutes. And usually maybe like halfway in between, the professor will say that, yeah, let's take a 5 minutes, or let's stretch and have a little bit of time to breathe. So it's like, which I think is really important if you want to actually promote attention and learning and like actually making things efficient. And
yeah, and after every hour and a half we have a 15 minutes break, so it's like it's not just going on straight after.
Yeah. What else? Okay, then what we've learned from other universities is, for example, there were some interesting practices considering the international students. For example, the University of Poitiers said that they have these host families for international students that are like screened for adaptability, or like, what is the word? I don't know. suitableness, I think, that keep in contact with the international student and help them with adapting to the new environment and so on, and also just all the things that the students from Coimbra described about their international practices were really impressive and sounded really good. And yeah, do you have something else?
No, just so we don't talk
Yeah.
the whole evening.
Yeah.
I think also that we all learn what's not like only the healthy campus, but we have learned a lot about the EC2U because I think we didn't actually know what it was. Yeah. There is not that much information. We just saw an email and wanted to get in. So not everything was about health, but
Yeah.
we thought that it was a really big thing, and we wanted to mention that as also.
Yeah. And then maybe one thing, the main key thing that we want to take home to Finland and Turku is that we notice that there's a huge lack of integration between the international and national students in Finland. For example, I don't even know if there's international psychology students in my field in Turku, because there's really just a minimum amount of interaction, and that's that's obviously a huge issue, and we would like there to be a lot more organized activities between the students, and just that's also, I think it's also like a university level thing, even though there are services, there are events, but mostly like a student level thing also. Yeah. Thanks.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you very much. Great. You can see that there's really a lot of ideas going on. So I would like to ask the Coimbra team to present what we have been working on yesterday. It's actually a good sign that people take quite a time to get here, because it means all the seats are full, people are interested and see what all the students have been working on within this week.
So, hi everyone, we are students from the University of Coimbra, and we will also like to highlight a few positive and negative aspects of our university. First off, the international and national offers. So the buddy program really helps students that are incoming to the university. So and there we have a tradition to have godparents. This is something that is cultural from the University of Coimbra, and we believe this culture has a tradition and it's very long-lasting. And this helps all the students to create some kind of a family, something centered in the university. We wish for more sports training and promoting gyms, because we have an offer from the Student Association, but still we have to pay a fee to participate in those kind of activities. And the medical appointments too, we have to pay for them, and it's usually hard to get. Okay. I would also like to highlight we do not have easily access to therapy sessions, so mental health support sometimes it is hard to get, although there is an offer. There are a few therapists for the whole university, so it's sometimes hard to get an appointment with them.
Okay, so regarding physical activity, which is obviously an important part for our health, we do have a variety of sports, team sports such as soccer, volleyball, swimming, etc., organized by the students' organization, and a gym available, but it is, as my colleague said, not totally free. As we learned, it is in some of your cities, so maybe that's something that the students can fight for. And also we sometimes have free competitions between faculties and departments thrown by student bodies, which are really good because they improve both physical activity and social moments, so maybe we should do them more regularly. because we still realize that the majority of students don't really do the minimum weekly exercise they should in order to be healthy. And regarding diet and nutrition, for example, as we know, sometimes starting university means leaving our home, our parents start living alone, and so the majority of students get lousy and start eating a lot of junk food. And we do have a lot of cafeterias spread around the city with social meals at a very low price, at $2.40, I believe, with healthy options. But we have to make the students want to eat healthy and promote that, because we offer the options, but we don't put them into practice. The students need to choose to eat healthy, so we should encourage them in that way. We also have vegetarian options, but vegan or halal, for example, only with special requests. So it could be also interesting in the integration perspective to include other cultures in our menus more often.
Well, regarding the transportations, Coimbra is a very small city, but University of Coimbra offers bicycle rentals and reduced price public transportation fares for the students. But as my colleagues were saying, we have a lack of publicity of these offers. So to finish this up, I think Coimbra is very strong in integrating other students, but I think it would be very interesting if we had more cultural representativity there. So we were thinking maybe some cultural day where we could explore some food for other countries in our cafeterias, books in our libraries, and movies in our academic cinema. And I think that's it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. From Coimbra, it's just a very small step over to our next EC2U university, to Salamanca. So would you come and present some of the ideas, please? Thank you.
So, hello everyone. I am Modelin, and this is my colleague and friend Manuel. We are from the University of Salamanca, and well, from this summer school we received a lot of input with a lot of information from diverse things that the universities are doing in their campuses. And we wanted to highlight two main ideas that we can take back home with us to our universities. First of all, that all of the universities that are being part of the Alliance are facing very similar health issues, which is really important for the second idea we take, which is the different initiatives to tackle the health issues developed in the different universities could be also used as an example and to apply them in the other universities. Some examples of this are the Healthy Campus model from the Jena University, or some ideas we took from the Iași University about how they orient their international students, both when the student is leaving, but also when they are getting back to their home university. So taking this in account, we want to also present some of our initiatives in the University of Salamanca. So, please.
Another point that we have treated during this week is health promotions. Salamanca University has a very extensive health promotions program that includes different activities such as food and healthy cooking, to promote healthy cooking, and different workshops on how to manage with stress and anxieties, sleep hygiene, and social skill training. It's also organized different activities to promote physical activities such as mountain trips, boxing, CrossFit, volleyball match, etc. And as we have learned during this week, With these activities, we can reduce the incidence of different infections such as COVID-19 and reduce the stress levels. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Salamanca. We have two teams. Poitiers has also already introduced us to a very interesting concept that was already mentioned by some participants before. So we're eager to hear what more Poitiers has to offer and the ideas that they had.
Hello everyone, this is me Arish. I am from Poitiers University. At first we would like to thank you for the well-organized and well-prepared event. We learned a lot and we are really happy to take the chance to participate on this event and meet new friends, international students and experts. We shared yesterday the amazing services that are available in our university, like Poitiers family that support international students, health care for free for the student, and French courses. We also have a reduction for public transport for students, and we have something like Maison des étudiants, which it means house student, student house, and etc. And now we would like to share with you something that we gonna work at first. Promote well-being activities that exist on campus, like yoga, relaxation, and massage, in order to decrease stress and improve student mental health. Second thing, increase language clubs and make it available in summertime, because this does not exist, to give foreigner students a better chance to success their studies. The third thing, that increase the bikes available around the campus. Create a council to help a guide student guide the student finding medical care like doctors or dentists, to make health services faster and easier for students. We have also raised awareness about ESN events in Poitiers University. Promoting the free health care and sport services, and on the final, encourage more communication around association and organization to support students. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Poitiers, for these ideas and also this excellent idea about the host family that certainly no other university in the EC2U Alliance has so far, but maybe we can take some inspiration from that as well. So now we are back. We traveled throughout the EC2U communities, and now we came back to Jena, where the Healthy Campus project has started. The proof that we are all here today is also the best indicator that Healthy Campus has come a long way, and we actually managed to get, from our Jena perspective, to the other partner universities. So I'm very happy that now some of our local students who have already participated in Healthy Campus in various ways, and the creation of the health questionnaires, and now even 3 years later in this forum and the summer school, happy to see what more ideas you have than what we could experience so far. Please come here so we can listen to what else you come up with. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lena. Thank you, everyone who organized this beautiful forum and summer school. My name is Nadine from University of Jena. We don't know what happened there because we actually put a very nice picture there as well, and also, But however, we're just gonna continue with an oral presentation then. So by evaluating what we already have, what we learned this week, and what University of Jena already offers to promote a healthy university life for our students, we basically discovered that there is a lot already. For example, we got a very active student health management. We have a lot of sports courses for university students at all kinds of things, like from dancing, meditation, yoga, kick fit or whatever. So it's all there. But still, we found some points that we would like to improve, or about what offers we would be happy as well as students. So, if you want to continue.
So, yeah, like, so for us, we realized that, like, in terms of internationality, like, we have kind of a problem that we, especially within bachelors, like, we don't really have English bachelor classes offered, so that way it's hard for international students to come and join us there. So even though we have, like, things for international students like the ESN network, it isn't effective if we don't have the courses. And also, like, in terms of our mental health, we realized that our courses are really long, so they are like 19 minutes, but we don't have like the benefits like the University of Turku, that we have like 2 minutes breaks in between. They're just like 90 minutes lectures, which is really hard for us to follow like the whole time. And also we do have the like mental health offers, like the Campus Couch. It's like a network for students to get like mental health help, or like to find a psychological help, but we don't have it integrated in our courses, and that's what we realized would be helpful, that we, for example, have like 2 minutes of our classes related to like a meditation, or to do some stretching or things like that. Because otherwise we don't really, it can be hard to find the time or the courage to seek these offers ourselves.
So next we discussed that maybe we could implement some relaxation rooms, for example, a silent room where we put a lot of couches and students can go in between classes and just take a rest, and also without electronic devices, so it's just for relaxation. And also, for example, for students who travel to the university 1 or 2 hours and they have some free time in between courses, so that they can just relax and take a break from the courses. Yeah, we thought it would really be necessary for the students to relax a bit, also because of the high workload for many students. Yes.
Yeah, so I think our general conclusion was that there is a lot offered already, and that we do have a lot of evidence and knowledge about what actually are health promoting factors, and we discussed this all week basically. But also, as we discussed, it's not only changes on the individual base, of course, or things that we as students can bring in, but there has also been a change in the system, for example, about the curricula in terms of workload. For example, that's a big topic that we discussed, so we see that there has to be a major change in educational systems. So the knowledge is there, the evidence is there, but we need to take action, we need to actually transform something. And so I hope we can all bring back something to all the universities internationally to make this happen. And there's a lot of hope thanks to this week as well. So thank you very much.
All right, thank you everybody. So we can see that even though this project has been going on for quite some years now, there's still some new ideas coming up. People keep thinking about how we can improve from the structures, from the individual offers to the actual spaces that we are teaching and studying, working, researching in. Thank you very much for these contributions from all of you. we're happy to see that now we actually also have some time for further questions. Also, if you would like to relate still to the work of the student meeting groups from the forum that have also done an impressive work during this week, we should use the space this time in case there's some more ideas. Maybe some of you listening to these interventions also came up with something, or you have specific questions. Now's still the time before we close this beautiful forum. Yes? Yes, you can come, please. Or
I had to turn it on.
Thank you, Melinda. I'm Liisa Järvinen from the University of Turku. I'm the local coordinator, EC2U coordinator there. And we are also coordinating the work package too. And I realize now that we should do better dissemination among students also during the forums, because I refer to the commentary for the Pavia, who was asking for the spaces for students, and the work package 2 has multifunctional spaces created in each partner university for students to communicate with each other. But obviously we haven't done very a good job with disseminating this information. So I think I take a note now that we should also share this information better among students. So these kind of spaces already exists that in each university. I know that Coimbra is still working on it, but all the other universities already have it.
thank you very much. This again shows that a lot of times things exist, and then it's the matter of communicating them accordingly to the community, so that way they have access to this information as well, and thus can use the offers that we have. Thank you for this contribution. Some more ideas, comments, questions? Yeah?
Not too close. Yeah, okay. I wanted to ask, now that we came up with all these propositions, if we want to start switching into a concrete plan. I was talking with people of Pavia committee in particular, since I'm from there, and we are trying to understand who do we refer to, who do we talk about our projects. Can you give us some practical insights about how can we bring this forward when we go back home?
Well, this is probably not an easy question to answer, since the different universities have different types of governances set in place. Here in Jena, for example, there would be something like the student council or the student self-government would be a possibly first step for addressing these issues, raising awareness there, and then going through the different levels of the institution and maybe get it to the attention of the heads of the university. But I think the first important step has already been done by communicating the problems that you see and that you experience in everyday student life to this very broad audience that we here have at the forum. On the other hand, there is a reason why the overall topic of this week was community of action, and that is also to bring you into action. And I think one of the key aspects of the Alliance is to exchange with others, get in touch, to network, and we can use the network that we now created by all of the students from all over Europe coming together, stay in touch, try to implement this, look for best practices, and then maybe also keep ourselves updated on achievements that we make along the way.
Thank you. Then also maybe, because you asked for very direct and concrete things, go to your university website and try to find out what kind of offers there are already, and then you can also find some contacts. So you have the structural, representational, but then also see what's already there and how to improve that.
Can I just propose something for the future forums?
Okay, maybe we can...
I can be loud.
But turn around then.
Okay. I was also in the EC2U forum in Yash, and we also there proposed, of course, in all the different areas we had all our groups. And the practical bit is always the hardest one to get started, because then there's bureaucracy, there's who do we talk to, who will help us. So maybe for the next EC2U forum, we can also think a bit about this practical part and try to get a contact person for each university that can listen to our ideas and bring them to plan, because of course for students, we talked about mental health, the load of studying, and all of us here, most of us here are active students, we're involved in student organization, we're already trying to do so many things, and it's very hard to bring on so many battles. We're trying to figure out your career and everything, so already the fact that we're here and we're proposing has been work from us. I have to go back, work on my thesis, try to graduate. So if EC2U, with all the connection and all the university together, can provide us a quicker path to get to practice, I think it would be helpful for all of us.
All right, thanks.
Can I add something there as well? Because EC2U does have such... So EC2U does have such a thing, a structure, which is called the Virtual Institute, GLADE. And so probably it would be a good idea to just basically Google EC2U and the Virtual Institute. And there you find the connection in each university of the EC2U Alliance to that institute. And that actually has one point in it, namely taking up your ideas to promoting healthy campus life for students. Okay? But of course, yeah, do keep it up.
If this makes sense, I would suggest that you, the students, you make a white paper, very simple, it doesn't have to be a fancy thing, that you make a white paper out of all these recommendations, and we at the EC2U coordination level, we will send it to the rectors and the vice rectors also. But all what you have added are excellent ideas.
Thank you for this great idea, also to bring it to other university management leadership levels. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you everyone for your great job. I just want to add that this representation that we have for students already exists, even if it's still not so official. It's called student representative. So in Pavia, don't hesitate to join Gianluca, and for Poitiers it will be me. But yeah, try to find us, because we are very open for new projects, for new ideas. So really don't hesitate, and what you did was a great job. Thank you.
Somebody would like to have the last words, comments, another question? Okay. Wow, many people.
Thank you. I'm from the municipality of Poitiers, and I just want to say that I'm very impressed by the quality of the discussions that you've been having, and you're already tackling the important challenges of our time. So I feel that our future is safe, is in very safe hands. So thank you so much. I congratulate you for all of the discussions that you've been having. I've been paying close attention. And I think we are in line in some of the aspects, the green mobility. We, as municipalities, are also trying to work on similar issues. So your inputs will be very appreciated. So I hope that you can move forward with this idea of Professor Tilly, that you can write a white paper so that we can get your contributions and have a closer look at the ideas and the great discussions that you've been having. Thank you.
Thank you.
And say that, yeah, I want to change it and say that we are here to know each other, we are here together. I have talked with people, I think, to all the countries that participate at the EC2U forum, and what I can say is that we are the new generation. The question was, what can I do to improve the green mobility? So it's simply, we have to talk,
we have to receive information for other country, we have to take the best part, we have to take notes, we have to make our voice louder and louder, we have to change it, because we are the new generation, and no, I'm not a kind of people to say, no, we are the new generation and we are the only one that can do something, no, but we have the voice and we have to communicate that thing to maybe older people and to older generation, and we are the new generation that have to do something for the generation that will come later. So we have to really talk, and the most important thing in all around the world is communication. And if you communicate, it can be a stupid thing or a better thing. But if you communicate, we can say our opinion on everything. So that's all.
Thank you very much. So we are happy to hear that our ESN president, Jena, has the last words on this before we come to the official closing of our beautiful forum.
Thanks, Lena. No pressure at all. Actually, it was just mentioned that communication is key, and I think so much already has been done. It just sometimes the process is not really transparent, and I think that's what we can all learn from this, that we should communicate better, and that also things that are decided on the higher level also make their way down to us and the students who actually can use this information and the mobilities and everything that is decided. And there is, a student part on the EC2U website, and there are almost, I won't say all the information there. We just have to communicate where to look and to find their way through the website to get to the student part of it. But yeah, I think, as you said, communication is key, and I think if we can all use what we produced during this forum, during the previous forums, we can make it better and better for the future.
Thank you very much for those closing words. Very well put what we have been thinking throughout this week, what we have been noticing before, and what we will probably notice afterwards also when it comes to communicating what we have been working on in this week, and share it with also out of the EC2U community. Thank you very much for the contributions. I think we are just in time, I would say. From my part, I would like to thank you for everybody contributing, all the work that you as participants hopefully have not been seeing, but has been done by all the volunteers as well, all the speakers that have been traveling here, even it was a little bit tricky for the summer school, the forum. Hopefully you have also seen some parts of the Health Week, the Home Office exhibition, and so on. We're looking forward to the next time receiving you here in Jena, and I will give the last word to our student representative, Richard.
Well, it's not quite the last word, since there will be a closing address following very soon where I will have a last word, so to speak. So also from my side, thanks again for the very interesting contribution to this very lively towards the end Voice of Students session. And with this, we would close this session and hand over the floor to Ms. Claudia Hillinger, the head of the International Office, to start with the closing address, as all good things have to come to an end, and we're entering the last session of this forum now.
Der nächste Slide, Sie müssen noch mal drücken und dann kommt
Also ich muss
einfach weiter.
Okay. Good. So, unfortunately, an exciting week comes to an end. I would like to give a short recap. I do not want to go into repeating all the details. You all know the program, you all have participated in the program. But I just wanted to mention that it was really impressive how engaged and everyone present was, how actively you participated in the various and topically very diverse sessions. There were lively discussions, as we just saw. I think we could have gone on for a while with your questions, answers, dialogue. And we received a lot of thought-provoking impulses that we will certainly think through and pursue as individual universities and in the consortium as a whole. I think what you just presented, we took notes You can always address international offices as the key contacts or main contacts of the consortium with questions, ideas, impressions. And I think from my side at least, speaking for the University of Jena, this works very well. We have a very interactive discussion with our student representatives and hope that you will approach us with any issues and topics that you have. In addition to the official program, a lot of other activities took place in small groups, bilaterally. I just want to mention one as an example, a meeting of the staff of the career services of the 7 universities in our Jena Career Point to discuss best practices in student counseling in terms of employability. And I think many of these interactions have taken place that will spark ideas and inspire some future activities of the consortium. Coming back to what was said in the opening remarks, you might remember that I read the letter of Professor Mukherjee, the president of the German Academic Exchange Service. I think what we have seen this week is that our alliance really develops towards an institutional friendship. The motto "Community of Action" could not have been chosen better, I think. All in all, as the hosting university of the 6th EC2U Forum, we were proud and honored to have you all here in Jena. And thank you very much again for your so active appreciation of the program that we have put in place. And if I say we, that's a huge group of people who contributed to the program. And let me see how that works. You will see all the names, like in a film, the end of a film, listed here. Special mention to 118 people. I cannot appreciate their contribution individually right now, but I would just like to take the opportunity to thank exemplarily and representative for those groups and teams, some of them. First of all, the university leadership, Walter Rosenthal and the Presidium, who really acknowledge the work that has been done at our university, EC2U, and their support on a strategic level. I would like to thank the technical teams, Frank Reismann in the back and his group for IT and technical support, our Hausmeister team. You probably haven't seen them, they have been working behind the scenes. I would like to thank the communication department for graphics, for supporting public communication, and all the representatives of our university in the different work packages of EC2U and RI4C2. And exemplarily, I would like to mention Rüdiger Trimpop for work package 4, Christoph Vatter, work package 5, Alex Brenning, work package 6, and their scientific administrative teams and co-workers. And here I would like to mention Lena Schmitz explicitly for her dedicated support and engagement in the EC2U. Also, there have been a lot of other colleagues at our university who contributed in various task groups in the Quality Council, so the names are up here. In particular, I would like to acknowledge the University Health Management, Jana Kampe and many others in her team, to develop the synergies of our Community of Action Week together with the University Health Week. The students, I was very impressed about your engagement and your active participation, and I would like to particularly thank Luisa Wöllner, Richard Kindler for organizing this, as well as Christoph Liedl sitting here, for their extremely dedicated work organizing the students' events and Voice of Students and the session, and networking with all of you. All the student helpers and volunteers, you have seen them in their Community of Action shirts. They have contributed tremendously to make this a functional event and a lively event. I would like Ludovic Tilly and the global coordination team for their tireless efforts to keep us on track and on time, and support in organizing the sessions, the topical input, the moderation. So thank you for that as well. Last but not least, I would like to thank my team in the international office. I have to say I have a tremendous team. Without their dedication, I would not be able to manage anything, basically. I would particularly like to mention Britta Saalheiser, who's sitting here, Work Package 2, Jana Blumenstein, she's in the back somewhere with the mobility group. I would like to mention the FACT team. This is the national project that we get funding for by DID, and several of the team members are here. Sabine Müller in the back, Charlotte Rauch, you have seen her, Stefanie Waterstadt, Kerstin Zippel, who have tremendously contributed to that effort in organizing the event. And of course, the EC2U and RF4C2 teams. Here I would particularly like to mention Dana Strauss, who has provided valuable and essential input to many sessions, supporting wherever where help was needed. Eleonore, she's Ruderfeld, she's in the background. And above all, of course, Melinda. So, a little token of appreciation for all your dedication and hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I think the next speaker is Richard Kindler. I hand over the microphone to him.
Well, dear participants and guests to this 6th EC2U forum here in Jena. When I was first asked to give a few closing words at this closing address at the end of the forum, I was both honored but also a little bit overwhelmed. As I explained earlier during the Voice of Students session, most of the student program is sort of a living organism, only evolving throughout the week, so I could not very well prepare my speech in advance, since I would not be able to know what the outcomes of the forum's week will be. Now looking back at the week, I can definitely say that this was a huge success. We have seen this with your lively participation in the session just before this one. We have seen this throughout the week, and we have seen this on the many happy faces that I was able to see also during the evening program that the Erasmus Student Network organized, for which I would also like to give a very small applause from my side, and maybe also a bigger applause from your side, since this has not been mentioned before. There is also some small hidden champions at the backside of this room. You might have seen that the video contributions, well, students tried their best, but after all, they're not professionals, so our tech assistants at the backside of the room was very actively helping to keep the audio level stable, so that would be a pleasant experience for all of you in this room. Nonetheless, I was able to prepare some little words that I would now read to you, and with this also acknowledge the student contributions that were made to this forum. Remembering the greeting address at the opening of this forum, the EC2U Alliance and the European University Initiative strives to enable us, the students, to become conscious and active members of the European Union. As were the many EC2U events before, the summer school and the forum taking place this week were great opportunities to come together and exchange thoughts. So let me say, but not only to the students, thank you for bringing your perspective and experience to Jena. Thank you for contributing your thoughts and wishes to the continuous and active exchange that is the very basis of this EC2U Alliance. Thank you for the fruitful discussion, talks, panels, and personal conversations, and I hope that you were able to find some new ideas that you can take home with you to your home universities. Luisa said that she wondered what EC2U would be all about when she was first delegated to be part of the student delegation at the Salamanca Forum. I've also seen this in the words raised during the Voice of Students sessions, that although everybody did their very best to communicate what EC2U is all about, there maybe remain some few question marks. But we did our very best also with the student orientation at the beginning of the week to inform you what the EC2U Alliance is all about, which many opportunities it offers, and all of the great work that has already been going into this alliance. However, we have seen that the engagement and participation of the students within the Alliance, also just now with the Voice of Students session, is still very well a work in progress. Students are usually the first to notice problems and issues that arise at the university in everyday university life. And with the Voice of Students session, the overall aim is not to create conflict between maybe the students and the head of the universities, but rather to point out opportunities for improvement, opportunities for change within the student, within the university communities. And the Voice of Students sessions, and also maybe some fruitful discussions that you can have later in person after this, in the small reception that will just follow this closing address, you can find a direct pathway of communication between you, the students, the student community, and the heads of universities and cities. After all, students are the largest status group at all of the universities and a huge impact to the city communities that surround the universities. Student engagement and participation is also a great way to foster engagement of the students outside of their academic careers. We have seen that although the students might not be very proficient in the fields that they have been working on, after all, this is a student week that has been open to students from all fields of studies, they still managed to perform some very, to me it seemed very professional results. And I think this shows that the students offer a huge potential. So let us tap into this potential of student-led and student-initiated projects. Yesterday also during the roundtable on higher education, we have seen some very good examples of such student projects that are effective and well received. Let us fill the concept of the student council that is proposed in the next round of funding with life to foster more student participation within the Alliance. Let us shape the Alliance, the future of the Alliance together. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your stay here in Jena. Yes, I think Ludovic is up next, so please have the floor.
Thank you, Richard. Well, I think that we are now closing an absolutely amazing week of full engagement from the whole community with you, the students, all the staff, the rectors and vice-rectors who came also to Jena, all the associated partners, basically everybody. I really must say that I'm personally impressed and proud of what we can do together. We are EC2U, you are EC2U. So a big thanks to all of you, with of course a special mention to Walter Rosenthal, but I would like also to name a few colleagues. Claudia, Melinda, Dana, Eleonore, Christopher L., Sabine, Kerstin, Lena, Jana, Britta, Franziska, Rüdiger, Christophe V, Julien, Alexander B, Bettina, Pascal, Svenja, Thomas, Alexander S, and of course many others. You could see the whole list and probably there are even more people. So a big thanks to all of you, and now I will invite my colleague Christine from Poitiers, who will, on her turn, invite her to the next forum in Poitiers.
Dear all, first of all, I want to thank one more time our colleagues from Jena for this wonderful warm week. In fact, we begin with the sun on Monday and we conclude with the sun. And in the middle, we have the perfect weather, finally, to stay inside, working together, with nice sessions, working hard, but also nice and very friendly moments together, some emotional moments also with our colleagues from Lviv. And at the end, we work together on a strong way. We can be very proud, as you said, Ludovic. And at the beginning, we were on the star on Monday, remember, for the welcome reception. But this afternoon, we were also reaching the stars, thanks to you, our students. You know that we are teachers. And finally, the reason to be there, the reason to create this alliance is for you. And hearing you this afternoon, it's so impressive. And I really want to thank you for this, all these proposals that are really the future of our alliance. So, this afternoon we are a bit sad because it's the end of something. We have to leave our friends. But, of course, we keep in touch. And in October, between 16 and 19 of October, we'll be again face-to-face in Poitiers University. So it's my pleasure to invite you with Ludovic and in the name of our rector, Virginie Laval, in Poitiers in October. And just to begin, some flavor of Poitiers, please. You have a small video?
Before we show the flavor of Poitiers, I would like to hand over Le Témoin. This is a little memento of the 6th Forum in Jena, and actually this is the feather, a glass feather, with which Friedrich Schiller wrote his poems and poetry. So it's the... Oh, so what I would like to hand over to Poitiers is a glass feather. It's a replica of the original feather that Friedrich Schiller used to write his poems and poetry and literature. And it is meant for Poitiers to write history with the next EC2U forum. All the best.
No? Sorry?
Just a moment.
But it's better to come.
Suspense. Close the presentation. Yeah, that's what's right. Yeah, cut. Now we close the... We need to close the... Yes. Okay. And now presenting Poitiers.
So, hopefully, see you soon in Poitiers. And as a final concluding word, I would like to remind you that EC2U as you know, initially means European campus of city universities, but now we can clearly say that this is empower, connect, cooperate, and unite. It's up to you now.
These are now the final words. On your way out, please, there's a little reception, farewell reception, and we hope to see you all sometime again in Jena. Safe travels home.